Hello everyone, my name is Joseph and welcome back to the Popsicle Night channel. This video is sponsored by PTCGO the best place for you to get Pokemon TCG code cards. Are you looking to complete your card collection online for the latest set? PTCGO has everything you need. And please remember to use my code NIGHT22 at checkout so that you can get a 5% discount. Please enjoy the discount and your purchase directly supports the content I create in this channel. Thank you guys so much for your support and for your supporting PTCGO. In today's video, we'll be showcasing Hisuian ARCANINE from the Lost Origin expansion set. Hisuian ARCANINE is a stage 1 Pokemon with 130 HP, 2 retreat cost, no resistance, and is weak to grass. It has 2 attacks, but we're focusing mainly on its first attack called Very Vulnerable. For 0 energy, this attack deals 10 plus damage. However, if you have no cards in your hand, this attack will deal 160 damage instead. And with the help of Choice Belt, you can even increase this by 30 more damage when going against a Pokemon V. So to increase Hisuian ARCANINE's attack, the only setup we need to accomplish is to empty out our hand completely. The best way to do this is by filling our deck with usable item cards. And the main supporter card that can help us get these trainer cards and to empty out our hand is Peony. To use this card, you have to discard your entire hand, after which you can search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards. And all you have to do is use those trainer cards to fully empty out your hand. And to help discard other non-item cards, I also have a copy of Galarian Meowth. It has the ability Evolution Roar. To use it, you have to discard 2 cards from your hand, which will then allow you to search your deck for an evolution card for Galarian Meowth. But of course, we're only using this to discard cards in our hand. You can also use Ultra Ball and Quick Ball to discard cards in your hand. So with that strategy in mind to help you set up, most likely you will be able to constantly attack with Hisuian ARCANINE for 160 damage output for 0 energy. So technically you can have a build with absolutely 0 energy in your deck. And with that much damage, you can potentially 2-hit knock out almost all VMAXs or V-Stars in the game. It is worth noting that I'm using this Hisuian Growlithe as my pre-evolution, just because it has the attack defensive posture. For 0 energy, you can flip a coin, and if heads, you can prevent all damage to this Pokemon by attacks during your opponent's next turn. And if your opponent can't damage Growlithe, this may just help you stall a turn, which may give you more time to set up when you need it. I am using a 4/4 line of Zoroark for this build. It has the Phantom Transformation ability, which allows you to switch this Pokemon with one of your Stage 1 Pokemon in your discard pile. So with this, you can constantly transform into Hisuian ARCANINE. But when going against other specific matchups, Zoroark can actually make your deck a little bit more versatile since you can transform into other Stage 1 Pokemon. So in this deck, I also added a copy of Mightyena, which has the Hustle Bark ability. If your opponent has any VMAX in play, the attack cost of this Pokemon will be 3 colorless less, essentially allowing you to use its attack Wild Tackle for 0 energy, dealing 160 damage. This of course is great for countering Mew VMAX builds, which may just allow you to deal a 1-hit knockout against it because you'll be hitting for weakness. I've also added 1 copy of Slowbro, more for its attack Twilight Inspiration. For 2 colorless energy, if your opponent has exactly 1 prize card remaining, you can use this attack and you simply take 2 of your own prizes. I did include 2 twin energies in this build to power up this attack. This is such a broken card because with the right circumstance, it can just instantly win you games without doing anything else. With this type of deck though, energizing Slowbro can be a challenge, especially when our whole strategy revolves around discarding all of the cards in our hand. So to help preserve important cards in our hand, and prevent it from being discarded, especially when we use Peony, I'm using Oranguru with a Primate Wisdom ability. Once during your turn, you can switch 1 card from your hand and switch it with the top card of your deck. And I also have a Pidgeot V with a Vanishing Wings ability. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you can shuffle it and everything attached to it back to your deck. This will help you keep the twin energies and tool cards safely in your deck, or to empty out your hand as well when you attach them to Pidgeot V. And the most awesome Radiant Pokemon to use in this build though is none other than Radiant Venusaur, because just as Hisuian ARCANINE's attack implies, you become very vulnerable going into your next turn if you have 0 cards in your hand. However, with Radiant Venusaur's ability Sunny Bloom, this allows you to draw cards until you have 4 in your hand at the end of your turn or after you attack. So you'll constantly have cards in your hand at the end of your turn. But just in case, I also have 2 copies of Rose Tower Stadium. Once per turn, this allows you to draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. As for the other cards worth noting, first I have Avery. This card allows you to draw 3 cards, and it also forces your opponent to discard their benched Pokemon until they have 3 left. Next is a copy of Grant, and this simply increases your fighting Pokemon's attack by 30 more damage, and you can recover this card anytime from your discard pile in exchange for discarding 2 other cards from your hand. So with this and Choice Belt, you can increase Hisuian ARCANINE's attack even further of up to 220 damage. And finally, I have a full set of Ordinary Rod so that we can constantly recover our Zoroark line. Overall, Hisuian ARCANINE is a pretty decent single pricer card. I just really love the concept of being able to attack for a lot of damage for 0 energy. I even think this deck can do really well in tournaments. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below, and now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Hisuian ARCANINE. Alright, let's get right into this first match, going first, and we're going to start with a Zorua in the active spot. There's really not much we can use in our hand right now, which is really horrible start. So I think I'm just going to pass. And my opponent's going to start with a Diancie in the active spot. It has an ability that prevents you from bossing their basic Pokemon on their bench. We're going to use Marnie, reshuffle our hand back to the deck, or to the bottom of the deck. Hopefully this gets us better cards, actually. Alright, cool. We got some Pokemon search item cards here, which is really good. And we're actually going against a Hisuian Electrode V. Alright. And unfortunately, it is weak to fire, not fighting, so we might have a hard time knocking one out. But yeah, 100 damage for each special condition that is inflicted on Hisuian Electrode V. And they're also pairing it with the Parasect combo. So what I could do in this turn, I could use Ultra Ball. I'm thinking of getting Radiant Venusaur, so that's going to help us draw extra cards at the end of the turn. And with just one card left on their hand, they might not have anything either, so we might still be okay. Hopefully it's not a Professor's Research. We're just going to evolve this, and I'll just demonstrate how Diancie's ability works. I'm going to try and boss their Bidoof, and see the ability just prevents you from bossing their Pokemon. So I just wanted to empty out my hand so I can draw full 4 cards using Venusaur. And that actually got us Avery and also another Zorua. And we got Rose Tower from our top deck. I'm just going to draw 3 cards for now. Set up these 2 Zorua. Get rid of 1 Peony, and then I mean, I could get Hisuian Meow or Galarian Meow, but I think I'm going to go with the Primate Wisdom Oranguru. And I can just keep switching back and forth cards from my hand with the top card of our deck. Because we're almost ready to use our Peony. So this is the best time to kind of have that Oranguru so that we don't waste away any important cards that otherwise we'll be discarding. And that can actually impact the whole strategy if you're not careful. So they did manage to get a Bibarel, so now they can draw 5 cards their turn. And that could actually allow them to start attacking for a lot of damage with Hisuian Electrode V. So they need to switch out their Diancie out of the active spot, evolve into Parasect so that it can inflict sleep and poison to both active Pokemon. And then there's the wind-up arm, which allows Hisuian Electrode V to attack even though it is asleep. There's an escape rope though, so we might... That's a good thing, because I don't really want to sacrifice my Zoroark. So they are gonna switch into their Electrode V. So they're attempting to attack here. But at least all they're doing is knocking out one of our Zorua, and then we can probably start attacking on our next turn. For now, my opponent's using a Quick Ball to get a Crobat V. So when they put that into play, they're going to draw into 5 cards. Pretty nice draw engine there. Evolution Incense. Most likely they're just going to get their Parasect. There it is. So when they evolve it, when they evolve their Paras, that's going to inflict special conditions on both active Pokemon. So Sleep and Poison, that's more than enough to knock out our Zorua. So that's going to deal 200 damage, which is pretty insane for 0 energy. I'd actually like to showcase this too. I know a lot of people have showcased it already, but trying it for yourself is a little bit different, and sometimes you do find out some bits and you know, a little bit of different tricks along the way when you kind of try it out for yourself. So I'd really like to try this one as well. Okay, so they're gonna attack for 400 damage. They are hitting for weakness because Hisuian Electrode is a grass type. So they the sleep is removed. We're just gonna evolve into another Zoroark, and with the evolution incense, I'm just gonna get Slowbro because we already got Hisuian ARCANINE from our top deck. We have. Okay, this is not a good thing because I could use this. I could use this choice belt, but now I have no choice but to discard it using Peony. So we discard our entire hand. I could get another choice belt. And see what because we need to leave our hand empty at the end of the turn. So I'll just go with the level ball. Transform into Hisuian ARCANINE. And I think we should be able to knock out their Electrode. Might as well get a Galarian Meowth with a level ball, put it in the bench. We got a quick ball. That's just really good. Let me just empty out my hand using this quick ball. And then, I mean, I could get Hisuian Growlithe. I might as well just do that. And we're just gonna use Very Vulnerable for 190 damage, and with the poison, that's actually gonna knock out their Hisuian Electrode V. So that special condition that they inflicted on their Electrode V went against their favor. So now we were able to deal that much damage, and with the special condition, it actually helped us out to knock it out, getting us 2 prizes. So now with another Hisuian Electrode V to attack us, they are gonna use Parasect, but if they don't have a wind-up arm available, they're not gonna be able to attack with this Hisuian Electrode V. That wind-up arm is really important with their strategy, because if Electrode V is asleep, it cannot attack. Alright, oh, I don't know why I still have this, but they have Spicy Curry, which burns their active Pokemon. It also heals it. But with 3 damage after their attack, we might be able to get a knockout if they're not able to attack with their Hisuian Electrode V. But with Professor's research, that's going to get them a lot of cards. Most likely they're going to have it here. They don't have it. Yo, we got away with that one. Insane. All right, cool. So it's now our turn, but our Hisuian ARCANINE is asleep. We can't retreat. We cannot attack. That's the problem. Let me see if I can use Primate Wisdom, get something to get it out of the active spot. Okay. Let's use Hisuian Heavy Ball first. Dude, both our escape rope is prized, so we can't even get it out. It's very unfortunate. So we might have to just wait a turn. Let me get Hisuian ARCANINE. We can evolve our Growlithe. So we have a secondary attacker going into our next turn. And then, I mean, I could use Avery. That could disrupt their hand, but I'll just use Marnie because I can't attack anyways. It doesn't really matter. Okay, we can bump out their stadium with ours. Then I can even use Ordinary Rod to recover 1 Zoroark line. And just use this up. Okay, well, I'm gonna stall. I'm gonna stall for now. Evolution Roar. use our stadium. Dude, we got a scoop up net. That is insane. All right. Cool. We might actually be able to attack because Crobat V is weak against fighting. We could just get 2 prizes here. I could scoop up my active and then just attack, but then we won't be able to empty out our hand. That's the problem. Because we have Avery in our hand now. And we don't have any other options to empty out our hand. And even if we scoop up our Arcanine, our active, the evolution will be in our hand. So again, we won't be able to discard our hand completely. So I have no other choice but to just pass. But since their Crobat has Air Balloon, they easily retreat into their Hisuian Electrode V. Again, evolving into Parasect, inflicting both active with special conditions and with the spicy seasoned curry, healing their active and also burning it. They're able to deal 600 damage because Hisuian Arcanine is weak against grass as well. Okay. So Sleep and Burn is gone on their active. I was actually hoping that it would stay so that we can... we might still be able to knock it out. 160, 70, 80, 90. Close. Pretty close. Let me use Avery. It's gonna force my opponent to discard their benched Pokemon. Man, that would have been awesome if we were able to take 2 prizes with that Crobat. But unfortunately, there was no way for us to empty out our hand last turn. So we'll make do, see what we could do here. We have a few options moving forward. Let me scoop up my Venusaur because I want to preserve this Twin Energy and also the Air Balloon. That also helps out to empty out our hand. Peony is there. We can empty out our hand. We can recover our Pokemon using Ordinary Rod. Let me just shuffle Pidgeot V back to the deck along with the Twin Energy and Air Balloon. Might as well put our Venusaur back into play. And this is okay because we have Galarian Meowth to discard our hand here. So we'll just recover Zorua, Evolution Roar. And with no cards in our hand, we will be able to use Very Vulnerable, dealing 160 damage. And with that 1 poison damage, it doesn't quite knock out their Electrode V, but if they keep it in the active, it will get knocked out. The whole concept with Hisuian Electrode V, I think is pretty cool. I really like it. It's very unique. But the damage, the special condition is inflicted on Hisuian Electrode can go against you though. That's the only thing. As you can see in this demonstration, they are going to knock out our Hisuian Arcanine, and it is lost zoned. That is pretty crazy. But you know what? The poison, the poison damage will also knock out their Hisuian Electrode, and that's going to go in the lost zone as well. And that gets us 2 prizes going into our turn, which is really bad for our opponent because now we can attack for free here, getting us 1 extra prize closer. And yeah, in terms of prize exchange, we are winning this one. Let me use Marnie, set up another Zorua, and yeah, we have plenty of attackers lined up. Can evolve into Hisuian Arcanine on the bench, use Primate Wisdom, switch out the Twin Energy, and we have Air Balloon. I can just attach it to these 2, I guess. And then I can just discard both of these, and we can reuse Grant later on. Phantom Transform into Hisuian Arcanine with our Zoroark, and we're just gonna attack. Very vulnerable, knocking out their Parasect for 160 damage, getting us a prize, and that's a Twin Energy right there. So we're one step closer to winning this game. Not too bad. Definitely was a winning matchup for us, especially we're taking 2 prizes when we knocked out their Hisuian Electrode V, as well as the special condition that they inflicted on themselves didn't really help them out. So the survivability became lower for our opponent. And without being able to set up another Hisuian Electrode V, okay, there's one, but I don't know, maybe we can easily just knock it out again. Because like I said, they need that wind up on, which doesn't help with the HP. If you can put Cape of Toughness or something like that, that would actually be really good. But as it is, it's not helping out my opponent. Gonna use Bibarrel to draw into more cards. And yeah, they should be able to knock out our Hisuian ARCANINE. That's gonna get them one more prize. But moving forward, we can just finish off their Electrode V because we have another ARCANINE on our bench. And we can also use a Zoroark. 400 damage right there, 1 extra prize. But you know what? Slowly they're putting all of our Pokemon onto the Lost Zone, which is really bad. Because if we can't transform into another Hisuian ARCANINE, we're not going to be able to attack. So since we have Air Balloon on our Oranguru, we could just pivot into the active. We could just retreat. And we need to hit for 200 damage. And we can't use Slowbro because my opponent still has 2 prizes left. Okay, we have Escape Rope. This could actually win us the game because now we could just knock out one of their weaker Pokemon from their bench. Then all we have to do is use Ordinary Rod, empty out our hand, and then deal the finishing blow with our Hisuian ARCANINE. Get a Zorua. And very vulnerable for the win. Awesome game, man. Not bad, not bad. Alright, let's move on to our next match. Again, we are going first in this one. And we're gonna mulligan. Don't have any basic Pokemon in our hand. Okay, we can start with Hisuian Growlithe. And I'm gonna reserve my Pidgeot V. Okay, I think we're going up against a Lost Zone deck. We have Hisuian Heavy Ball. Get another Hisuian Growlithe, which is really good. And might as well put Pidgeot V in play. Put this in the active spot. Because on our second turn, we can evolve into our Hisuian ARCANINE and start attacking for a lot of damage. Yeah, let me just scoop up my active. Just thinning out my hand so that I can draw extra cards with Rose Tower. Oh, dude, I don't know if that was a good idea though. Oh, man. I mean, I have Air Balloon. I could retreat my Pidgeot V, but finding it is gonna be hard. I should have just left that Hisuian Growlithe in the active spot. So my opponent's starting off with a Sableye, and they're hitting for 20 damage. And they are also using Giratina. So this is a Giratina VSTAR deck build, Lost Zone mechanic. So let's get a Meowth. Evolve into Hisuian ARCANINE. Use Marnie. Okay, we got Zorua, which is really good. We have a Scoop Up Net, but we can't scoop up our Pidgeot V. That was a really bad move. I don't know why I did that. Anyways, we're just gonna pass here. I could have been able to knock out their Sableye by now. Yeah, I should have just switched into my other Hisuian Growlithe. It would have been easier for me to get it out of the active spot, or start attacking with it as well. Alright, so my opponent removes their Sableye and just use their Giratina V, but like I said, we are also not doing... This is a really bad setup because of that one little mistake, man. And you know what? That's why I really appreciate this game too. You know, if you're not really careful, you really need to think about what you're doing to make it work. You know. But for now, let me discard these two. That's fine. And then maybe I can get a Venusaur. Radiant Venusaur will help us draw extra cards, and hopefully we can get this Pidgeot V out of the active spot. Still nothing, but we have Avery. We can draw 3 extra cards on our next turn. And that's going to force my opponent to discard their Pokemon from their bench as well. But as of right now, they don't really have a lot of Pokemon. So either way, we need to draw into something to get our Pidgeot V out of the active spot. Or if my opponent can just knock it out, it's fine. But that is going to get them ahead in prize. Okay, they're going to switch into their Cramorant. It's attacking for free, because they have enough cards in their Lost Zone to do that. And they're going to need 10 cards in their Lost Zone to use Sableye's attack that can spread 12 damage counters. But I think we should be okay because Hisuian ARCANINE has 130 HP, which actually makes it survive really well against this matchup, even against Sableye. We finally got our air balloon. We can get our Pidgeot V out of the active spot, and despite the damage caused by their Cramorant, we can actually just shuffle it back to the deck. There it is. So no worries, no liability wasted out there. Alright, cool. Can put Zorua into play, and then do I need to use Avery? I mean, I have to because I need to empty out my hand. Good. So all these cards are pretty usable, which is really good. Might as well use Evolution Incense to get my Slowbro. We can use Evolution Roar to get rid of these two. And then get another card. Okay, we scoop up this guy. Put in Primate Wisdom Zorua. Okay, good. Alright. So we still got it. We're still able to empty out our hand. And now we can attack with Very Vulnerable, knocking out their Cramorant for our first prize. Okay, we have Manaphy. And then with Radiant Venusaur, we drew into a bunch of Peony, which is really good. So we can just discard all the other cards we have in our hand. I don't think we need Manaphy in this matchup, because unless they have Radiant Greninja, which hits for targets multiple Pokemon, we need Manaphy. But they are going to target my Radiant Venusaur, knocking it out with their Giratina VSTAR, and we really have no other choice but to kind of retaliate with our Hisuian ARCANINE. But we need to keep our lineup of attackers going. And we're still pretty safe. As long as they don't have Lost City, we can just keep recovering our Pokemon back to the deck. Let me Primate Wisdom my Boss's Order, because we might need that. We got a Quick Ball. I could set up another Zoroark line. Either way, I'm just going to use Peony. Discard all of that. And then I'll just get a level ball. That's going to help us find... Ooh. Okay, we got another Ordinary Rod. That's not good. We may just use one up already. Get Venusaur and one copy of Zoroark. I mean, if I'm going to discard it anyway, might as well just use it. We use Level Ball to get a Zorua. Yeah, I'll just discard these two, whatever. And then very vulnerable. We're hitting for 160 damage. It's within range to knock it out in our next attack. So whatever they do here, we have another Hisuian ARCANINE to attack with. And whatever we draw in our next turn, hopefully it's something that we can use, and then again emptying out our hand, we will be able to hit for another 160 damage. So they're just gonna attack with Lost Impact, and every time they attack, they're putting energies into the Lost Zone, so that actually makes it dangerous for them to keep going, because they're gonna be relying on Cramorant moving forward. So we have Zorua. Let me Primate Wisdom, Zoroark. We got a Peony. Okay. Okay. Just use Peony. Could use Quick Ball, Ultra Ball. Yeah, let's just get rid of this. Get Radiant Venusaur. So at the end of our turn, we will be able to draw extra cards. So very vulnerable, allows us to knock out their Giratina VSTAR, getting us 2 prizes. Very nice. And we got a grant from that. And Sunny Bloom. We have Pidgeot V available to us, and also Grant. So I really like Grant, because if we use Meowth to discard Grant, we can use Grant's mini ability to put it back to our hand, but it's gonna help us discard 2 extra cards from our hand. So Grant is actually really good by discarding extra cards in your hand. So they're going to attack with Cramorant. It doesn't seem like they have any other replacement for their Giratina V or VSTAR. So let me Primate Wisdom Grant for now. Let me use Evolution Incense to get a Zoroark. And Marnie. Okay, little complicated move there. At least we got Grant back. But then I'll have to sacrifice my my boss's orders. I think I'll just have to do that. But either way, we won't be able to empty out our hand completely, because we have Zorua. And we can't discard it at this point. Yeah, I'll just use Escape Rope. Another Escape Rope. I mean, we have Grant. I could... Yeah, let me just Phantom Transform. At least that's gonna help us survive an attack. And I'm just gonna pass, because Zoroark has 120 HP. If they're able to attack with their Sableye, they can knock one out. But even if they target our Arcanine, it's gonna survive an attack because it has 130 HP. So sure enough, they target one of our Zoroark, but that's okay. That actually empties out our hand or our bench. I mean, not empty out. It leaves 1 extra room, so I can shuffle my Pidgeot V back to the deck. And that's what I mean with Pidgeot V. It's really good at emptying out your hand as well. So now we can put our Zorua in play, and that actually got us a Peony, the extra draw card from our Rose Tower Stadium. So we're definitely gonna get a knockout here. Let me just Primate Wisdom. Dude, we got Twin Energy. I guess that's the only awkward thing, because with Primate Wisdom, you never know what's on your top deck, and if you need that card, it's... you almost kind of lose it. if you're not careful, but we might not need the twin energies after all, but we should be okay. So I'm just gonna empty out my hand and just knock out their Sableye for now. It's gonna get us one extra card. And Hisuian Heavy Ball is easy to get rid of. You just use it. Even if you don't have any Pokemon in your prizes, it will just get discarded. So now we have our last twin energy in our hand, which could be useful if we need to, if my opponent gets down to their last prize. But as it is, they don't have any other attackers other than Cramorant V, which is slowly knocking out our Pokemon lineup, though. And there's my opponent's starting another Giratina VSTAR, and it's fully energized. They just have to, I mean, they can attack with Shred, which deals 160 damage, and it's unblockable. Giratina V is actually pretty powerful just by itself. So we'll use up this Heavy Ball. Use the Level Ball, which we can't really get anything for. And let me Primate Wisdom. Arcanine. Okay, cool. We got a Zorua. Or a Zoroark. And you know what we could do? Even if my opponent knocks out my Arcanine, let's just attack for 10 damage, right? Because really, that's all it is. Oh, you know what? If they attack with Sableye, they can actually attack and knock out my Galarian Meowth and also my Hisuian Arcanine, and then just win that way. They'll get their 2 prizes. But if my opponent doesn't see that, if they knock one of our Pokemon, all we have to do is transform our Zoroark into our Slowbro, put the twin energy, and then just take our last 2 prizes. So let's see what my opponent does. Let's see what he does. Dude, that's it. That's gonna be game. That's a close one, man. Alright. Well, we're just gonna evolve into our Zoroark, Phantom transform into Slowbro, twin energy, and just like that, win the game. Awesome. Twilight Inspiration, guys. Good game. Alright, moving on to our next match. Let's see what we're going up against. Got Zorua in the active spot. Alright, cool. And in this deck, I did include a bunch of, or a few Battle VIP Pass just to test it out to see how well it does. Because one of the things that kind of irritates me is not being able to set up a bunch of basic Pokemon into play and then your opponent just donks you, you know? Okay, so we're going up against Hisuian Zoroark. So Zoroark versus Zoroark. But yeah, my opponent deals a lot of damage, but we are hitting for weakness. We might be able to win this matchup. So we're gonna get use Battle VIP Pass, get these 2 in our bench. Use Avery to draw 3 cards. We have a Stadium. Can use our Quick Ball to get rid of Zoroark. And set up Hisuian Growlithe for now. And then put Air Balloon there. We can even put Choice Belt, and I'm just gonna recover my Zoroark. Draw extra card with our Rose Tower. Use Evolution Incense to get Arcanine. And I'm just gonna retreat. since we have 0 energy to use this attack, there is a potential that we can become invulnerable, but we failed that one because we flip tails. Otherwise, if we flip heads, even if they attack us, they're not going to deal any damage. And that's why I like this Hisuian Growlithe. You have that potential to stall. And an extra turn for you to set up can make a big difference, you know? It can mean winning or losing a game entirely. But as it is, we failed it, so they might be able to attack this turn. They just have to get their Bibarel out of the active spot. And with enough Pokemon with damage counters on them, on their bench, or actually in their entire board, they're dealing for a lot of damage. And since they're going up against single pricer cards, I think the maximum attack damage that they can deal is 300 damage. If all of their Pokemon, if all 6 Pokemon are set up and then they all have damage counters, their Hisuian Zoroark VSTAR can deal 300 damage. And of course, they're pairing it with Gengar, and Gengar is a stage 2, but you can easily put it into play. As long as it's in the discard pile, you can put it straight to the bench and then deal 30 or 3 damage counters on it, which easily sets up for your Zoroark. So with an air balloon on Bibarel, they can just retreat it easily and then attack with their Zoroark VSTAR. Boss's Order, Choice Belt, damage pump to spread damage. There it is, 280 damage. So it lowered their attack because they have double turbo energy on their Hisuian Zoroark. So I'm just gonna transform, evolve into Zoroark, and then, we actually need our Arcanine in the discard pile. So with 2 left, we needed that. Let me just Evolution Roar these 2, and then we can just attach the Choice Belt. Just Phantom Transform first. And that's gonna discard the air balloon, attach this, and very vulnerable. And since we're hitting for weakness, we are hitting for 380 damage against their Hisuian Zoroark VSTAR. So not too bad, you know, they take 1 prize, but we get 2 because they don't have any way to remove their weakness. So there's that one Pokemon that can remove colorless type Pokemon's weakness. Forget the name off the top of my head though. Dunsparce, I think is the name. Dunsparce. Okay, Professor's Research. Get another Hisuian Zoroark V. So the thing is, I think with that deck, they need to have at least 2 attackers set up, because when one gets knocked out, you need another backup. As for us, we are actually looking really bad. At least we have 2 Zoruas available now. We got from our prize cards, which is actually really awesome. And we can even set up all these basic, use Rose Tower to draw 3 extra cards, and then go from there. Okay. Got another Zoroark to evolve. Primate Wisdom. This Parasol. And again, we can empty out our hand using Evolution Roar. And then just attack to knock out their Bibarel. So that's a good knockout actually, because now they don't have any way to draw into extra cards with their Bibarel. Okay, they have an evolution, Hisuian Zoroark VSTAR. And they have a lot of Pokemon with damage counters on it already, so they are pretty much set up. Arcanine doesn't have a lot of HP, so they don't really need that much to set up anyways. Okay, they get they get another Hisuian Zoroark, but they just put the Crobat. So with Luminion and Crobat in there, it's filling up their bench really badly, and there's no way for them to put a space, which is really, I think for me, my opinion, is a bad strategy. Okay, so we have Zoroark available. We could just transform. And we have Venusaur on our hand. So that's the only practical move, right? Then we can recover these two. And then transform into Hisuian ARCANINE. And then get another knockout. There it is. Very vulnerable. Knocking out their Hisuian Zoroark VSTAR. So this matchup is... it's a pretty easy win for us. I have to admit. Because, again, without that Dunsparce, it makes it a lot easier for us to knock out their colorless type Pokemon. And my opponent's not strategizing well enough, I don't think, because see, like without a backup attacker, this is what happens, you know. You don't have an extra attacker, you're left out in the open without being able to retaliate. And the fact that they're only getting one prize at a time while we're getting 2 prizes each time we knock out their Hisuian Zoroark V. We're down to our last prize. They still need 4, which makes it really... puts them in a really bad spot. So now they're just setting up their other Zoroark or Zoroark V, but it still cannot attack because it's not going to deal enough damage to knock out even our Hisuian ARCANINE in the active spot. So if I had to gauge it, we pretty much have this in the bag, unless my opponent has like a trick up their sleeve. Maybe they have some type of strategy that I don't know about. Okay, they have a Melanie. Okay. So they can attack with Luminion V, put it back to the deck. But it's not dealing enough damage, 100 damage, not enough to knock out our Hisuian ARCANINE, allowing it to survive. And now it's the end of their turn and we only need 1 more prize left. And all of their Pokemon is within knockout range, if I'm not mistaken. And the only thing we need to do is basically empty out our hand. We use Ordinary Rod. Recover the Zoroark line. Yeah, overall, I think Hisuian ARCANINE is actually a pretty good card. Just gonna Marnie. Okay, evolve this. Put the Twin Energy, Primate Wisdom, this. Ugh, okay. I mean, I could Escape Rope. You know, I should have just used Peony. I don't know why I used Marnie. Okay. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I think we got this. So we can just use Evolution Roar, get rid of these 2, retreat back our Oranguru, and then finish off their Gengar with our Hisuian ARCANINE. Okay, well, there it is, guys. Very vulnerable for the win against this Zoroark VSTAR. Good game. Before ending this video, I want to thank you all so much for showing so much love for this channel. As always, before you go, make sure you are subscribed if you are not already. Make sure and leave a like. It's a simple way to help increase the algorithm to get this video to more viewers like you. And if you'd like to help support my channel even more, please check out the description of this video. You can donate to me directly through PayPal, and you can also become a member of this channel. For as low as 99 cents a month, you may be able to buy me a coffee if you'd like. And you'll also be able to get an early access to videos I've already uploaded before they are scheduled for release. Or you can also use the new super thanks from YouTube if you'd like to donate even further. You can also check out Redbubble, where you can buy apparel and accessories with awesome designs from me. And of course, for supporting my sponsors and partners, PTCGO and yourplaymat.com. Links are in the description below. But you don't have to do any of those if you don't want to. I'm just really happy that you continue to take the time out of your day to watch my videos. Thank you everyone for watching, happy Pokemon gaming, and stay tuned for more videos. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to smash the like button for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the Popsicle Night channel, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.